Hello and welcome. We've been submitted a case today for evaluation, and I want to take the opportunity to go through this case. This was sent by a past seminar attendee. Greeting from XYZ State. I hope you're doing well. Here's a case which I'm debating on screw retained versus cementable. I have two plans and was wondering your thoughts on how you'd approach this. Through the process of crown design, I was hoping to compensate for the approximately 3.8 millimeters space between the buccal bone and buccal portion of the implant. Many thanks for your thoughts on this, and for your all-on-4 lecture, do you recommend working with an oral maxillofacial surgeon? Let me just address the plan in terms of working with an oral maxillofacial surgeon on a hybrid program. We do believe in a team approach. That does not mean that GPs cannot tackle those cases. Certain cases certainly are more complex than others, but we believe in a overall team approach due to the medical complications and the complex surgery involved with many of these cases, but certainly is more than achievable by general dentists. So let's take a closer look. As always, I will start with making a determination on what type of guide process, and that would be, do we go down an analog guide process or a digital guide process? And looking at this panoramic version of this 3D x-ray, we can clearly see that this is a great case to go down the digital guide process, which would give us the options of OptiGuide, DigiGuide, and CereGuide 2. Being an anterior case, my tendency is to steer towards OptiGuides for anterior cases, but certainly the DigiGuide and the CereGuide 2 would be a good option there. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here was this dentist was able to place a CEREC data in there. Let us verify that it is correct, and the reason I want to verify that it's correct is if you notice there's no space between the teeth. I do advocate and recommend the use of a bite stick or something to be able to properly have space between the arches to allow for better visualization of teeth. The one positive, just on a side note here, of having your teeth together when you take the scan is you can get a better idea, and here I know the teeth are together. Here you can get a better idea of the airway, and I would have a good conversation with this patient about the potential for any airway issues. Again, cone beam imaging is not diagnostic for airway, but it is a great conversation starter, and as you can see here, we can definitively see a constriction in the airway. So anyway, back to what we sent this about. So here is the screw retain plan that was submitted, and my guess would be the concern is with the buccal here, how thin that buccal plate is going to be, and also along the lines of the distance or the large gap between the buccal plate and where the implant is going to go. I'm not overly worried about that large gap, to be quite honest with you. I would expect some shrinkage in this case. As you can see, this buccal root is quite a bit far forward. So I would guess that we're going to get some shrinkage. I would certainly pack some bone in this area. I would, however, have some concern regarding this spacing right here. So I would definitely, in this particular case, go for a screw retained option. It definitely always, generally speaking, is a better option in my opinion. And here is the original plan submitted. And here we can see that we're placing the implant relatively centered. I would call this a surgically placed implant, centered in the bone, but the negative is that it will be coming out of the buccal of the implant. Now, if that is a preferred position from ease of placement and things like that, screw retain is still an option using the Nobel angulated screw channels. So I wanted to go ahead and bring that up so we can see what that looks like. I don't know why Nobel has this funny music in the background. So the way the angulated screw channel works able to achieve the 35 Newton centimeters of torque. We have done several cases with the angulated screw channel, and we have been unbelievably happy with it. So just to give you an idea that even though you don't get an ideal place, if using the Nobel active implant, the angulated screw channel is an option for you. Okay, so let's come back to one more thing that I would like to have changed in this. I would personally have preferred that we drew our veneer on the buckle instead of the lingual. One of the things that the lingual does do is it gives us false thickness that we may not be able to achieve by placing on the lingual. The other thing that it does or limits us to here is inability to properly see where our gingival margin is going to be. So we know right now, based on our drawings here, this is our current gingival margin. Just like so. But what we do know also is that we will have some gum loss from the trauma of the extraction and resorption. So, more than likely we're going to get a little bit of papilla loss. So right here. So I would have preferred, in my particular belief, to go ahead and draw our margin on the facial and draw it approximately 1 millimeter higher and draw a facial veneer on this immediate placement. What that would allow us to do is predictably make a decision on our apical position, our vertical position of the implant, based on a proposed gingival margin, assuming that we're going to have some bone loss here. So what I mean by that is currently, based on the current gingival margin, I would plan my implant in this 2 by 3 position, somewhere in this ballpark. But what we do know is that we're going to get approximately a millimeter bone loss, so our 2 by 3 position should be more along this line right there. Now the only concern I have about my drawing here is that I still believe that we are not in the bone. So actually we are. We can see the plate right there. So based on the average 1 millimeter loss, I would probably say that our apical position should be about right here. So based on that, your current vertical position of the implant is correct. So that is fantastic. Now let's focus on getting the screw retained and getting an ideal placement, which I think are both achievable in this particular case. So what I would like to do is just go to your screw retained plan that you've provided here. And here we can see the plan is screw retained. As we go through, we can see it a little bit better right here, certainly, that we are screw retained. What I would do with this particular plan is we can see that personally I don't like how close we are to this buckle plate here. Any type of drill deviation or any type of, any type of inaccuracies can create a dehiscence there. So why take that risk? Right here is what I'm referring to. Why take that risk? So instead, what I would do is, seeing how much bone we have here to the palate, I would go ahead and move this implant palatal a little bit, and then I would go ahead and swing it that way, just a hair. And in doing that, what I'm going to do is get rid of my restoration. As you can see here, this is what I'm talking about. The restoration gets in my way of properly seeing whether or not I have screw retained position. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And right now we can see that we are not going to achieve a screw retained restoration. Right there, you can see it's coming through the incisal edge. So to fix that, what I would do is I'd probably just pinch that just a hair that way. Just like so. And now we can see that we are still in the bone. Okay, and yet we are far enough away from the buccal plate. So I would choose a screw retained position for this particular case. Let me take a look at a few other things here. Our centering looks very nice. Our space from the adjacent roots look very good. Our space from vital structures look very nice. And we have more than enough engagement for immediate placement here. So I think this is a great case for immediate placement. I think as long as we have atraumatic extraction, leaving this buccal plate intact, go ahead and grafting this gap here between the implant and the buccal plate, knowing that we're going to get some resorption in this case. My guess would be that if I were to guess, let's say that's our bone right here, okay, just like so. Okay, I would guess that when we are done, our bone will end up looking more along that line right there. So I would be certainly more than comfortable with that. So thank you for submitting this case, and I hope this has been helpful.